Hello and welcome to another episode of Mic Drop, the weekly video series where we discuss online marketing trends for small business and franchise. I'm Mike Peters, Online Media Director here at J. Miller Marketing, 16-year industry veteran and your host for today's episode. Today we're going to be talking about Waze Local. So, in case you didn't know, Waze is a traffic app. So it's an app you can download on your phone and it gives you traffic updates. It's kind of like a merge between Google Maps and a traffic reporter. Incidentally owned by Google. So people use it. It's popular because it gives you all this traffic information. And so when you're driving somewhere and all of a sudden the traffic stopped and you're like, what's going on? You can open up Waze and it's a community traffic. So people will post accident at this such and such part of the road. Avoid, and so you can find out why the traffic is slowing down. Some people use it to post that there are cops posted on the side of the road trying to catch speeders, and so it's a community sourced traffic app that people use typically for their commutes or for if they're doing road trips or stuff. So what is Waze Local? Waze Local is the program that Google developed to put some ads out there. So Waze Local and its starter package, what most people would be doing, what most small businesses would be doing, because of the price points are a lot more accessible. You're paying a $2 cost per 1,000. You have a minimum spend of $60 a month, and so you can get what are called branded pins. These are in the Waze app on the map as people are driving, and your location is near them on the screen. Your location will be marked by a branded pin, so your logo will show up there. So they see that, they could make the decision to tap on that, drive over there, and visit your store. The other one is promoted search. So people are searching for types of stores or restaurants or gas stations or some sort of retailer near them. They're searching, and then because you're in the promoted search, you will be kind of promoted ahead of organic results. And so there it's more of a little full-form listing. It's your business, your contact information, that type of thing. Then there's a third option, but that's only available when you go to Waze Local Plus. I'm not really going to go into it a lot because the price points there kind of jump out of the local business's budget. This requires a minimum investment of $3,000 a month and a commitment of at least 3 months. So that's $9,000 in total to get into the Waze Local Plus. What does that unlock for you? Zero speed takeovers. So obviously you're talking about an app that somebody's using as they're driving their car, something you're not supposed to be using your phone while you're driving your car. So interacting with these branded pins or searching for something while you're driving, bad news, right? So zero speed takeovers are things that happen when they stop their car, when their phone is no longer registering that they're moving along the highway at 75 miles an hour. The zero speed takeover takes over their screen. It's a much more, I'd say, traditional advertising experience. You have a call to action, you have a promotion, you can get people interested, come to your store. So that's the zero speed takeover. Again, Waze Local Plus. High budgets required, minimum $9,000 investment. So really, I'm going to talk more about the other two, the Waze Local options, branded pins and promoted search. So you run these, what can you track once you've run these campaigns? So you can track your typical online stuff, impressions, clicks, if people saved your location on their phone, if they requested navigation, so if they tried to drive to your location and they got the navigation, that can be recorded. If they tap an info button, so they see your listing and they want to get more info, if they tap that. So these are all actions that show people are interested in visiting your business. It won't tell you if they got to your business, but it will tell you that they showed interest. So that's good. That's similar to the type of stuff that Google already reports on when you're running Google ads, paid search ads, which incidentally would be showing up in the Google Maps product, which is kind of a competing offering, but it lacks that community-sourced traffic data, which is really what Waze is known for. So what are the pros of Waze? Why should you be interested in Waze? Well, if you are a retailer who relies on impulse buys as people are driving, so your restaurants, your fast food, your gas stations, coffee shops, impulse buys that people will see your branded pin on their drive and they'll be like, oh, I could use a coffee, and they'll pull off and they'll stop and buy some coffee. Good for that. Good for businesses who rely on travelers. So hotels that are along the side of the highways, things that as people people are traveling, they're not familiar with the area, but they always need that. They need to be able to access it, like a hotel or fast food or a restaurant, though it's good for that as well. Cons. What are the cons to Waze Local? So again, it's a traffic app. It's not a discovery app. So people are not using the app to discover retailers they're already familiar with. They're using it when they already know the location they're going to. They are entering where they're going, and they're starting, and they're getting their map routed, and they're going there. And so they're not using it to discover new places along the way. They're not using it to discover new retailers that are similar to one of their favorite retailers. They're simply trying to get from point A to point B. So it's a little more difficult to insert yourself in there and try to be a point C. You're charged by impressions and not the click or the engagement, and so really it's all about that ad showing up. So it's a brand awareness play. You really can't optimize anything towards any sort of like action that you wanted, like saves or navigations. There's no real levers you can pull to improve performance. You're simply there creating brand awareness. And then finally, I think I already mentioned it before, but distracted drivers. You don't want to be on an app where people are looking, or you're relying on them to look at your business while they're driving a motor vehicle at speeds in excess of 60 miles an hour. So a little iffy there. And then actually my second final, and probably the biggest one for me as an advertiser, is there is no messaging or no call to action that you can place in these branded pins or these promoted searches. It's simply you just being there. You can't call out an event you're running. You can't offer a coupon. You can't give the customer any reason to really interact with you other than that you're close and you're showing up on their map. There are things where you can do calls to action and stuff like that with the Waze Local Plus, and there's also a branding opportunity. If you have a budget over $30,000, you can get into Waze branding, which pushes a lot more stuff your way. You can do like push text notifications, you can do emailings, you can do geo-fencing and all sorts of other stuff. But again, that budget way too high for a traditional small business or a local franchise. So Waze Local advertising, is it worth it? If you're in those select niches, those kind of impulse travelers need it type niche, it could be good to get your name out there just so while they're driving down the street and they're all of a sudden out of gas, you are there telling them that you have gas, you'll be happy to sell it to them. If you're more of a different, maybe like a clothing retailer or a consumer products, consumer goods type client, not really going to work for you because people aren't often driving and impulse shopping you. If they're shopping with you, they're doing that because they have a reason, a purpose, they're setting out to do that. You're more likely in this A to B scenario, you're the B, you're the destination they're entering in Waze already. And so Waze Local right now, it's still in its infancy, even though it's over almost 2 years old now. It is still a closet case kind of situation. So if you have any additional questions about Waze Local, please let me know. Always happy to talk. And until next week, consider this mic dropped.